to our regular public board meeting for February the 10th, 2025. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7:02. And I would ask for Trustee Janvier to please lead us in prayer and land acknowledgement today.
All right, thank you. We would like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of Treaty 8 territory and the homelands of the Métis people. We recognize the land on which we stand as the ancestral land of the Indigenous peoples and is common home to everyone in virtue of God, our Creator's gracious gift. And if you'll join me in prayer, in the Father, Son, loving and gracious God, you are indeed the giver of all good gifts, and we thank you today for all your blessings, for the successful outcomes of our school events, and for all our staff members, both the teaching and support members. We ask that you bless them abundantly, and we continue to seek your wisdom, guidance, courage, and strength. Be with us in our deliberations, and help us to be wise in the decisions we make, for the good of all those who have placed their trust and confidence in our leadership. Give us insight to lead with integrity, that our decisions may reflect what is right and good. Keep us from short-sightedness and pettiness. Help us to make decisions that are for the good of all, and guard us from blind self-interest. Dear Lord, grant us the humility to always seek your will in all that we do and say. All glory be you, loving God, now and always, through Christ and the Holy Spirit, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you. That was beautiful, Trustee Janvier. We move to item number 4, the adoption of the agenda. We do have a couple of items for board decision that are attached to the agenda. Does anybody have any additions or changes to the agenda? And if not, I would be looking for a trustee to motion that we move the agenda as presented.
I move that we accept the agenda as presented.
And all in favor?
In favor.
In favor.
So moved. Thank you. So moved. We move now to item number 5, the adoption of the minutes. That we have the regular board meeting minutes from January the 13th, 2025. We have had a chance to review those minutes. If there are any additions or omissions, please let us know. And if not, I would be looking for a motion to adopt those minutes as presented.
I motion we adopt the minutes as presented for the regular board meeting of January 13th, 2025, and any business arising from the minutes.
Thank you, Trustee Janvier, and all in favor?
Favor.
So moved. We move now to the next item up is the school presentation, and I cede the floor to Superintendent Natasha MacArthur-Poole.
Thank you, Chair Langmead. Good evening, everyone. Today I'm happy to be introducing to you the team from Our Lady of the Rivers School, specifically Principal Darren Van Lingen and Vice Principal Joel Kinnett, who will be speaking to some of the great things that are happening down at Our Lady of the River.
Good evening, board trustees and FMCSD representatives. I'm just going to load our presentation for you. So good evening, everyone. As Superintendent MacArthur-Poole said, my name is Darren Van Lingen. I'm principal at Our Lady of the Rivers Catholic School. And with me, we have Joel Kinnett, who is our vice principal.
This evening, we plan to discuss how we are incorporating the Catholic social teaching of dignity to support our core values of persons, learning, community, and responsibility. If you visit our hallways, our classrooms, and our assemblies, as well as our masses or liturgies, you can tell that we have grown over the past 4 years. This year, we have grown to approximately 460 students. We are using every bit of available space in our school to accommodate the diverse learning needs of our students.
Our hallways and our school buildings have felt a little bit different over the past 5 weeks. With job action, I've had to make the difficult decision of asking some of our most supported students to stay home due to safety concerns of not having the ability to meet their needs to a safe learning environment. Based on our communication with staff and students this year, we recognized that we needed to incorporate Catholic social teachings to help address our core values. It is a blessing to have a diverse student population. It truly makes OLR a remarkable place to be.
Diversity brings the responsibility to help educate students and staff on valuing different identities. So to help us have a foundation in doing this important work of valuing persons and creating an inclusive school community, we utilize the Catholic social teaching of dignity. Dignity helps us understand that each person is precious, unique, and loved by God because He made us. We teach students that this means we are all very special and very important because God made us and loves us. Not one of us are made the same. We are all uniquely made, but we are made in the likeness of God.
So, brainstorming with Nick Murphy, we utilized resources from different organizations which had educational materials for teaching about dignity and modified it to meet the needs of our school family. For the month of January, we focused on 3 different weeks. Week 1 reflected on personal dignity because there needs to be love of self for there to be love of others. Week 2 focused on learning the rights of children through the United Nations. This again was supported by lessons and materials from Catholic organizations. And week 3 asked students to think about how they would use this knowledge to respect their own dignity and the dignity of others.
During week 1, students were introduced to the Catholic social teachings and dignity. They utilized the book and then created hot air balloons that helped demonstrate their own identity and dignity.
So we had lots of hot air balloons put around our school, but it was to help them identify what makes them soar. So what's unique to them and how it values their dignity as a human. During week 2, we utilized resources from the Government of Canada, other Catholic social teaching websites, and the United Nations to discuss the rights of children. We have many students who are born in different countries, so we felt it was important to discuss the basic rights for all children. Along with the rights, we had activities for classes to talk about the responsibility of students in upholding the right of others and how their behaviors in and out of the classroom can help respect the rights of all. During this week, we also anticipated that we could have questions about how some of our school family is at home during job action, and having discussions about rights and responsibilities can lead to conversations about advocacy and how students can advocate for the rights of others in safe, respectful, and meaningful ways.
Week 3 focused on creating a pledge to respect dignity. Students focused on their own dignity and the dignity of others. The main lessons we tried to convey to the students was to understand and appreciate that everyone is different and unique, understand the importance of loving ourselves and others for their unique identities, understand that we are part of a global family, and understand there are different ways we can demonstrate love to others.
To complete our third week, we had a school liturgy in replacement of an assembly where all the students gathered. The theme of the liturgy was about respecting dignity, and we highlighted ways in which our students had demonstrated this through the core values in a photo presentation.
Our gospel reading for the liturgy focused on the Good Samaritan and helped with our reflections.
We are hopeful that as we enter into some important months and social justice days, that students will have a greater appreciation and respect for diverse identities within our school family. And so we're starting to see that with some of our student and staff work for Black History Month. We have a group of students that created that display with quotes. They identified heroes and they gave other students explanations on why they chose those individuals to highlight for this month. And now it's open for any questions.
More of a comment. It's Kelsey. I think it's good that you do this type of work, but I thought you guys were full last year. Like looking at the graphs, I'm like, I didn't think you guys could get any fuller, and it's crazy.
We are squeezing in during the winter months with all the coats and boots and everything. The hallways get very skinny.
Yeah.
Yep. A school that has traditionally been one of the smaller schools over the decades is now one of our the largest schools. So it is different.
Mm-hmm. But I really do like this. I like the work you're doing in this space. Appreciate it.
I have a question. I'm just wondering how do you reconcile dignity of the human person as it seems to be expressed in Christian terms, particularly in Galatians 3:28, with what sounds like these sort of collective identities that you're referring to. So Galatians 3:28 specifically says, there is neither Jew nor Greek, slave nor free, male nor female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus, emphasizing that there are no distinctions. Basically, these kind of social identities are just not important from a Catholic perspective. So how would you reconcile that central Christian Catholic message with emphasizing what appear to be collective identities? Because it's the human person that is primary, and every person is made in the image of God. So what would be your comment to that?
I think that no one person is the same as another person. And I think that it's important for our students, based on the questions that they're asking, to approach it with a faith-based, with the dignity, knowing that we do need to celebrate that there are differences between us, and we do need to acknowledge that based on the environment and that we have in the schools, we work with a lot of youth who question the different cultures. They question students with diverse learning needs because they want to know more, and they're coming at it with a place of love. So when we talk about dignity, we want to celebrate that, yes, we are all different, but at the core, we all have part of God in us, and we all are a reflection of God. Even though we all look different, we may come from different histories, we still have that core connection to one another.
It's an interesting perspective. I would say that, again, that particular passage from Galatians to me would represent a bit of a contradiction, but I just put that to you for consideration. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Generally, I speak last. So do we have any other trustees who have any other questions or comments?
More so, yeah, you have a large population. I was more curious on you know, how many, I know you would have them there if you could, but how many students would you say you have in that need that are staying home because you don't have the supports? Because I know you were like at 460. It's more for so I kind of get a grasp of the number.
A specific, so all of our EAP students, and then from K to 6, we have approximately 14 that are at home. It's a very difficult decision to make, and it's one that definitely weighs, I think, on all administrators right now.
Thank you for answering that.
I have a not necessarily a question, but just a comment. And I think that we really have to acknowledge we can't ignore the diversity that we have in our community, and certainly in Our Lady of the Rivers. And while recognizing that diversity, but everybody is treated with the same dignity, I think is really what makes us a welcoming and inclusive place. And I know that it's not easy when you have something like, I don't know how many languages spoken in our one little building there. But I think framing it around dignity really sets us up for a good, safe place for all.
Thank you, fellow trustees. Darren and Joel, thank you very much for your presentation. I think I would just like to mention that having had the opportunity to have been in the school, not recently, but in the recent past, and the opportunity to engage with some of the children and some of your staff, just recognizing that you, as well as all of our schools, definitely have a diverse population. One of the things that always hits home to me is you model how you model Jesus in your acceptance of all, particularly taking care of the marginalized. And I think this presentation speaks to that as well. So we recognize the constraints that you're under at the present time, and cannot express our appreciation enough for all that you and your staff continue to do to ensure that our children are receiving the best of you, the best of education within the province, and yeah, just enfolding them in love and acceptance. So thank you very much for your presentation today. We move now forward to item number 10, which is the board chair report. And if whoever's driving has the ability to bring that up, please. Thank you. We can go to the next page. Thank you.
Sorry, I just, Madam Chair, just usually you give the option if they want to go or not. I didn't know if
Oh,
the
I'm
school wants
sorry.
to stay or
Yeah,
not.
I think, yes, you're absolutely right. Thank you very much, Trustee Janvier. So yes, Darren and Joel. Thank you very much for your presentation. You're welcome to stay for the remainder of the public portion of the meeting. However, you're also free to go because we know that your lives are full and busy and you have, in your case, small children, and life. So thank you very much. So now moving on to my my board report. I think it's all there and it's part of the public record. The only thing I think that's come up most recently is the Chamber of Commerce luncheon that I attended with Superintendent MacArthur Poole and Deputy Lisa Hilsenteger. And that was largely around the state of address, or sorry, state of the region address by Mayor Bowman, as well as some conversation around the economics within the oil and gas industry. It did provide us with an opportunity to meet with Mayor Bowman just briefly and continue to advocate for our schools within the region. We did meet with a consultant regarding the superintendent evaluation. As part of one of our requirements is to ensure that we have a yearly evaluation of the superintendent. And so that was completed. I did have an opportunity to meet with other board chairs of school divisions that are also dealing with ongoing labor negotiations. I was able to initiate correspondence with the Alberta School Boards Association regarding advocacy on a provincial level, and we continue to work on reviewing and updating our policies, which will be noted further on in the public meeting tonight. We also worked on the strategic plan, had an opportunity to review it. That will be for the next 3-year period. And yeah, that pretty much covers off everything that took place in the last couple of months. So I move now to the superintendent report and cede the floor once again to Superintendent MacArthur Poole.
Thank you, Chair Lang. Let me just pull up my report here, as I just need to present my superintendent report. There we go. And let's get that in presentation mode. Okay, here we go. So there's a couple of, I guess, updates from last month about our current job action with our CUPE Local 2559. So we did have a scheduled negotiation on January 24th. This negotiation lasted about 2.5 hours. We did have a really good discussion, and we learned a lot of things, and we were scheduled to continue the discussion on January 31st. This meeting got canceled. We put out some public messaging with a focus on transparency, and I hope to return to the bargaining table as soon as possible. Since actually made this superintendent report, we have received some of or a counter offer that we were looking for from CUPE. So we will hope to continue negotiations in the next couple of days. I continue to meet with Alberta Education, other government officials, and other school divisions as we navigate similar situations together and are able to use each other for support, etc. We did have a bout of cold and flu season in the month of January, and we did have several of our schools that really came close to the 10% margin that we have to report to Alberta Health Services. Because we knew that we had an uptake in illness, we did enhance some of our cleaning protocols to help reduce some of the illness rates, and it did have that effect, which was really good. All schools remained under the threshold for reporting during this time, so our enhanced cleaning protocols definitely helped us out. We did have an AHS public health inspection of one of our schools, and through the inspection, they found there were no issues and no concerns to report. So despite some concerns that may have been out there, we did pass any inspections that were required from Alberta Health Services. In terms of things that have been happening in our school, January, of course, is a really important time for our grade 12 students who are writing or who wrote diploma exams. They have now all been completed. We had lots of teachers participate in exam marking, so we were happy that they could be involved in this really important professional development opportunity. Family Literacy Day is one of the things that we celebrate in February, I believe. Of course, February is Black History Month. We're excited to be the host city for VEX Robotics. This is happening at the end of February, not the end, the 21st, I believe. So almost the end of February. Excuse me. We are also in preparation for hosting the ASAA 3A basketball provincials at Holy Trinity at the end of March. This is a really good opportunity for Fort McMurray to showcase some great basketball that we are developing in Fort McMurray. This will be our one and only chance to host provincials due to a new ASAA regulation that no longer allows a school division that is north of Edmonton to host provincials. So this will be our one and only opportunity to do that. So we are excited to showcase that. Excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. Our draft calendar for next year is currently making its rounds in schools to get feedback from our employee groups, as well as our parents through their school councils. And we're hoping to have our school calendar for next year ready for approval at our March board meeting. And I just learned at our February RCMP community advisory meeting that some of the concerns that I had brought forward in the fall last year about e-scooters and how the risks of our kids getting hurt because of so many of our students riding 2 or 3 on an e-scooter at a time. This was brought forward to the RCMP and addressed by them. And there should be some news coming out here in March about how they're going to be enforcing some new bylaws with it in the spring, which will be really good because there have been a steady rise in injuries on e-scooters, especially when there are multiple people riding them. So I was happy to learn about that. So we'll wait to see what the information is and how we will send it out to parents so they are aware of these new bylaws that will be enforceable. As part of our development of our new 3-year education plan for the 25 to 28 time period, we have been working on sending out our stakeholder survey. This has been currently sent to students, our teachers, leaders, and parent stakeholder groups. We are holding off, of course, on our support staff survey until they return from their job action. We also have new surveys for our CST and counselor group because we felt that the teacher one that they were doing in the past really didn't allow us to glean information about their specific job categories. So we will be issuing a new one to them as well in the upcoming weeks. We also have started our student focus group engagements. They started today and will be finished by February 21st. This is a new source of data for us as we haven't done small group engagement with our students before. So we are looking forward to seeing the different types of information that we get from our student groups. And of course, the board strategic plan and the input we get from our stakeholders will help us create our new 3-year education plan. We also get information from the AIM surveys that are created by the provincial government. These have normally already been released by the end of January, but there is a delay on their release, so parents have not received them. So if we do have any parents who are used to getting them by this time, they still have not been sent out by Alberta Education, but we should see them come out sometime in February. And that's it for me.
Thank you for that. We move now to item number 12. Well, I guess first I should ask if any of my fellow trustees have any questions for Superintendent MacArthur Poole with respect to either the board report or the superintendent's report. And seeing none, I would ask that we move now to item number 12, which is the board items for decision. We move to item 12.1, which is the superintendent evaluation. And I would ask if it's possible to have that brought up on the main screen.
Sorry, my internet is glitching on me, and I just got back here. So where were we, Chair Langmead? Sorry?
That's correct, 12.1.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Are you looking for the motion now?
So I think I did speak to this earlier as part of the board chair report, and so at this time we would be looking for the evaluation to be accepted. And so I would ask for a trustee to provide the recommendation with respect to the annual evaluation.
All right. Recommend that the Fort McMurray Catholic Board of Education approve the superintendent evaluation report as developed in the evaluation workshop of February 3rd, 2025, as an accurate accounting of the superintendent's performance for the period of September 1st, 2023 to August 31st, 2024. And further, the board authorizes the chair to make any required technical edits and to sign the report on the board's behalf. Did you get that, Kathy?
I did, sorry. So I guess I just have one question with respect to this recommendation. I'm hoping somebody can provide some clarification. I do believe that the evaluation report was in effect from February 1st of 2024 to February 1st of 2025. If anybody's able to provide clarification on that.
Yes, I think there's a mistake in the period of time, because it was from February 1st, 2024 to February 1st, 2025.
Trustee Janvier, so if my fellow board members are okay with that recommendation with that adjustment to reflect those correct dates? Is there any opposition to that change to reflect the dates of February 1st, 2024 to February 1st of 2025?
I think it should come back as a new motion with the correct dates.
Okay, given that, then do we need to, because this motion has not been accepted, so I guess can we just Can it die on the floor, or do we need to
Can it be
motion to
tabled?
remove it? Yeah. Sorry?
Can it be tabled until, can we have Vanessa just do the edits and come back later in the meeting? Or
Superintendent MacArthur Poole, is that acceptable?
I think so.
Okay, thank you. We'll move then to item number 12.2. And I will cede the floor to Superintendent MacArthur Poole.
I don't believe this is your board strategic plan, Chair Langmead.
this is our item.
Thank you. Okay, and do we have the plan there? Thank you. So the strategic plan has been provided to us. With the core points that we had determined as a board that we wanted to focus on in the upcoming 3 years. The collective faith formation, educational excellence, stakeholder engagement and board advocacy, and mental health and wellness. And so, sorry, if we could move back up to the actual recommendation, please. Thank you. All right, so given the authority by the Education Act and its regulations, the Board of Trustees provides overall direction and leadership to the division. In keeping with the requirements of government legislation and the values of the electorate, the board is accountable for the provision of appropriate educational programs and services to resident students of the division to enable their success in welcoming, caring, respectful, and safe learning environments that embed diversity and nurture a sense of belonging and positive sense of self. The board is charged with the responsibility of providing an education system that encompasses the values of Catholic faith. We have had an opportunity to review the 2025 to 2028 strategic plan, and I am looking for a recommendation for approval as presented. So I would be asking for a trustee, please, to provide the recommendation.
I move that the Fort McMurray Catholic Board of Education approves the 2025 to 2028 strategic plan as presented.
And all in favor?
In favor.
In favor.
So moved. Thank you very much. We move now to item number 12.3. And again, this belongs with the board. So as per board policy 2, the role of the board, we had a chance to review the role of the vice chair. And I am looking for a recommendation to approve. Sorry, thank you. So we had a chance to review the policy and we recommended revisions, and they are presented in the board policy 6, which will, once approved, be revised and put onto our website. So I would ask for a trustee to provide the recommendation to approve the revision.
Be it resolved that the Fort McMurray Catholic Board of Education approves the revised Board Policy 6, role of the Vice Chair as presented.
And all in favor?
In favor.
In favor.
So moved. Thank you. As a result of the review of Board Policy 6, we recognize that a slight revision was required to Board Policy number 7 to ensure alignment. And Board Policy 7, the the revision deals solely with the review and approval of expenses. So it was item number board policy 713.4, I believe, is where the change is. So if we want to just bring that up for a quick look, and then I would ask for trustee to provide the recommendation. It's a ways down there. Excellent. Okay, so I would ask for a trustee to please provide the recommendation.
Be it resolved that the Fort McMurray Catholic Board of Education approve the revised Board Policy 7, Board Operations as presented.
And all in favor?
Barrett.
So moved. Thank you very much. I cede the floor once again to Superintendent MacArthur Poole with respect to item number 13.
Sorry, Chair Langley, did you want to go back to the superintendent evaluation motion? Because it's been updated.
Excellent. Yes, if we could, please. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Now, having been given the correct dates, Trustee Janvier, would you like to provide that recommendation once again?
Yes. I recommend that the Fort McMurray Catholic Board of Education approves the superintendent evaluation report as developed in the evaluation workshop of February 3rd, 2025, as an accurate accounting of the superintendent's performance for the period of February 1st, 2024 to February 1st, 2025. And further, the board authorizes the chair to make any required technical edits and to sign the report on the board's behalf.
And all in favor?
In favor.
So moved. Thank you very much. We now move to item number 13, administrative reports, and I cede the floor to Superintendent MacArthur Poole.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to introduce our Deputy Superintendent, Lisa Hilsenteger, for her Human Resources report.
Thank you. Do I have presenter capabilities?
I've got it up on the screen, Lisa.
Okay, perfect. I can't see it though just yet. Can everyone else see it? There we go.
Yes.
Perfect. Thanks, Natasha. Okay, as always, I just want to keep you updated on our classroom coverage given our job action that is continuing. So as of January 13th, we've had 81.7% of our positions covered, which left 18.3% of the jobs unfilled. What does that look like? So since we've returned in January, we've had anywhere from 1 or 2 jobs that are not being filled up to like today where there were 10 positions that were not filled. And so that can range from just 1 or 2 in every school or 3 or 4 in one school. So it leaves our schools quite busy with our admin supporting a lot of that, and even some of the staff down at division office supporting our schools when they are short-staffed. We had a leadership workshop that was scheduled for this week. It was this Wednesday. It was called Healthy Interactions, and it was part of our ongoing professional development for our administrators with teacher growth supervision and evaluation. And this one dealt with dealing with difficult conversations. And unfortunately, we did have to reschedule that till the fall as our leaders just don't want to be out of their buildings at this time. So understandably so. With teacher recruitment, we did attend the U of A, U of C, and St. Joseph's College career fairs this month. They were successful. We managed to gather quite a few resumes. So interviews are already underway, and so very exciting to say that there are some really potential candidates out there. And as well, our Keano students from the education program have begun their advanced practicum placements with us, and we have 15 students just with Fort McMurray Catholic Schools. So again, that's some potential candidates. They're former students within Father McMurray or Holy Trinity, or they have been educational assistants with us who have gone back to school. So really nice to have them come back to us and looking for future positions. With our student information services staff not being in the buildings right now, admin down at division office, senior admin have had to take over some of those jobs. And in human resources, we are doing the new registrations for the schools as a result of that. So looking at what we have just done alone right now since January, when we returned after Christmas break, we have 62 new students who have entered FMCSD. And that doesn't include any of the students that were registering prior to our admin staff being out with job action. So we're still getting a lot of students come in to the school division. So that's exciting. As of February 6th, we are looking for a French immersion and a kindergarten teacher. That's right now. But we've been incredibly busy just trying to piece everybody together, because to date we've had 10 medical leaves, and those are just the medical leaves that are greater than 2 weeks long. We haven't been tracking the ones that are less than 2 weeks. And we know that we have 6 more leaves that are upcoming, so we will have to find coverage for those positions. Currently, our EA positions are waiting to be posted, and those will be posted once we have our educational assistants back in the building. And we're looking for other specialist openings, which include an occupational therapist, a speech and language pathologist, and 1 staff member at the Syncrude Energy Center for the Performing Arts. So while we have 21 certificated substitutes on our list, many of them are busy filling those open positions, and we've been moving them around quite a bit. And so technically we have 7 certificated staff members that we can operate with on a regular basis. So that is why we have like 10 unfilled positions today in our schools. So that is human resources. Thanks, Natasha.
Thank you for that, Deputy Superintendent Lisa. We appreciate the report. Does anybody have any questions? I have one, and you may or may not be able to answer it right now, and that's fine. I'm just curious as to, of the 62 new students, do we know how many of those are new to Fort McMurray? Or do you have a percentage?
All of those ones are new to Fort McMurray, those 62. Yeah. We have close to 90, I think, registrations that varied. So that would be students transferring between schools or between school divisions, etc. And out of that, 62 were brand new.
Thank you. I cede the floor once again to Superintendent MacArthur Poole for item number 13.2.
There is no 13.2 on the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must be dealing off an old agenda. My apologies. We move now to item number 14. 14.1, the Alberta Catholic School Trustees Association. As the current director for our division, I attended the ACSTA Board of Directors meeting on February the 4th. And I've provided my report to the board. I have one item to note for the public is that there is now a trustee handbook available through the Alberta Catholic School Trustees Association website to help with any questions somebody may have regarding running as a Catholic school board trustee, given that we will be entering into municipal and school board elections in October. So that is available for people to take a look at. It is also included on our website as well. So thank you to our Director of Communication for doing that. And we move now to Trustee Galanzowski, item 14.2.
Thank you. We had our January meeting for the Alberta School Board Association Zone 2-3 on January 17th. And with regard to what can be shared publicly is that the same thing. There's an election coming, a municipal election, including trustee, sort of school board authority elections. And they're working sort of at the provincial and all the zone levels to help prepare current trustees and also provide information for current trustees to share with peers and community members that should want to run. So there's lots of advocacy with current MLAs as well, in anticipation that there may be a federal election in the near future. That's also on the radar. Current issues that other districts are dealing with across the province are school bus flybys, people driving by school buses and with their red flashing lights, and the power school breach. So there was a couple of roundtable discussions on, what sort of strategies other districts and communities are using and how that impacted the power school, how that impacted their operations and parent access.
Thank you for that. We move now to item 14.3. Trustee Janvier.
Yeah, I don't have an update or a report this month. We are meeting next week, so should have a report next meeting.
Great, thank you very much. And item 14.4, Vice Chair Hoffman.
Yeah, so the Provincial Grace is co-hosting the Bishop's Assurance meeting on February 21st, I believe, which I'll be attending as well. In their local newsletter, their most recent newsletter, sorry, they had a survey go out to local Grace chapters, just looking for feedback on to how the provincial Grace chapter or the provincial Grace can help the local Grace chapters. So it was filled out on behalf of Grace YMM. If anyone else would like to offer input, that survey is open to anybody and in Grace's latest newsletter.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And thank you in advance for attending the Bishop's Assurance session, both in your role as our Grace representative and in your role as Vice Chair, as I will not be available. We move now to that completes all the items within our public meeting, and I would now ask for a motion to move us into camera, and that we ensure that that we are in camera for board members only at this time.